I mentioned at the top of the program that everybody is having their say about the future of the great Australian Labor Party. One of them is the New South Wales Shadow Treasurer, Walt, who joins me from the Sydney CBD now. Thanks for joining us, Walt. You've weighed into this, warning against the Labor Party drifting down what you called the Green-leaning Sanders-Corbynista position, which I think is a very good way to describe the Green left.
Well, yes, I made comments earlier this week, but I was talking about the economy. We cannot take a wrecking ball to the economy. We have to have a mature, nuanced approach to the economy, and that means mining where mining is economically and environmentally permitted. But again, we can't take a wrecking ball to the economy. With the economic storm clouds gathering on the horizon and New South Wales slipping to third behind Victoria and Tasmania, we have to take this seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. But the other point here is you look at economic reform, and you've got the New South Wales Treasurer out there looking at taxation reform, talking possibly about reform of the GST to fund cuts to payroll tax and stamp duty. Do you think this is a direction worth pursuing?
Well, I'd like to continue to have a debate, have a discussion on this. I know that he's working with Tim Pallas and Victoria on this, but I don't support a broadening of the GST, but we do have volatile revenue streams. Stamp duty, it jumps and bounces all over the place. So yes, let's look at this, but what I actually want to see is to see New South Wales get a fair share of infrastructure spending from Canberra. We have projects in Western Sydney and in rural and regional areas that need federal assistance. So yes, I welcome a debate and discussion on taxation, but we get ripped off on the GST. I don't begrudge supporting jurisdictions like the Northern Territory because it has a unique situation, but we just don't get our fair share. So we have to engage with Canberra, but the immediate thing I want is to see more infrastructure spending in Western Sydney particularly.
There's a lot of infrastructure going in Western Sydney already, and a lot of federal funding too, especially when you talk about the second airport.
But there's also unfunded projects. You got the Western Metro, but again, I would also like to see some money tipped into rural and regional areas. Now, if we just put extra spending into the rail link between Sydney and Canberra and straightened up some of it, we could actually decrease the time between Sydney and Canberra, and that would increase efficiency and make a trip between Sydney to Canberra comparable to flying.
Yes, it's not a bad point. There's a lot of focus on high-speed rail. If you just fix up the existing rail, you can actually double the speeds on some of those tracks. They're slowing down to 40 and 50 k's in parts. Just very briefly, we're almost out of time, Walt Secord.
Yep.
The Greens want to get rid of prayers from the New South Wales Parliament. Where's Labor on prayers?
Well, I was absolutely shocked by that. When we're talking about the drought and storm clouds gathering around the economy, the Greens want to remove the Lord's Prayer. It's been in the New South Wales Parliament for almost 200 years. We are the oldest parliament in Australia, and I, in fact, last month was the first Labor MP in 10 years to read the prayer in the chamber. So I have no problems with people expressing their faith. And I can tell you, this has had the biggest backlash that I've seen. Last night, 700 emails. And I've also received calls and complaints from non-Christian faiths, Muslims and Hindus. They see this as an attack on faith in general. They don't see it as an attack on Christianity or the Lord's Prayer. They see it as an attack on people of faith. So yep. I do understand their views. And if it comes to a vote, a conscience vote, I will be voting to retain the Lord's Prayer in the Parliament.
Thanks for joining us, Walt.
Thanks, Chris.
Walt Secord there from New South Wales Labor Party. There's only one religion the Greens believe in, the Gaia religion, the climate change religion.